This is the AI News Flash for August 14th, 9 a.m. UTC. First up, Google has launched a new model, Gemini 3.7 Flash. It targets coding in AI agent workloads, and it arrives just 3 weeks after the previous generation, 3.6 Flash. Google describes it as a refinement of 3.6 Flash rather than a model built from a fresh pre-training run. The pricing is what stands out. Through the end of the year, it costs 75 cents per million input tokens and $3.75 per million output tokens. From January 1st, the standard rate rises to $1.50 and $7.50, which makes the current rate effectively half price. The discount also applies retroactively to Gemini 3.6 Flash. On performance, the Frontier Code coding benchmark rose from 34.4% to 43.6%. DeepSway went from 49.0 to 65.3%, and an automation benchmark jumped from 17.0 to 30.4%. The context window is 1 million tokens, maximum output is 64,000 tokens, and throughput reaches 340 tokens per second. The context matters too. Google DeepMind recently replaced its longtime head Demis Hassabis with his deputy Kore Cavusoglu, and the two original technical co-leads of Gemini left to found a startup. The flagship Gemini 3.5 Pro is still delayed. Analysts read this launch as Google using price to chase Anthropic and OpenAI in coding. Second, IBM and OpenAI have announced a partnership to deploy AI across core enterprise operations. OpenAI's frontier models, including GPT 5.6, along with Codex and ChatGPT work, will be embedded into IBM Consulting Advantage, the platform IBM uses to deliver consulting services to clients. The scope covers industry solutions for financial services, government, telecommunications, and retail, plus cross-company domains such as finance, procurement, customer operations, and HR. IBM will stand up a dedicated OpenAI practice inside its consulting arm and train and certify tens of thousands of consultants over the next several months. They are also expanding cybersecurity work. OpenAI's frontier AI capabilities will be combined with IBM autonomous security to coordinate decision-making, response, and threat intelligence at machine speed, covering both cyber risk and AI model risk. A model provider borrowing a consulting giant's delivery muscle and client base to reach core business processes. It signals that the enterprise AI contest is shifting from raw model performance toward the ability to actually land the technology inside operations. Third, Jiahui Yu, a core AI researcher at Meta, has announced he is leaving to start a new company. At Meta Superintelligence Labs, he helped build TBD Lab alongside Mark Zuckerberg and Alexander Wang, and he led the multimodal team. His portfolio reads like Meta's generative AI shop window, Muse Spark, Voice Mode, Muse Image, and Muse Video. His departure came just 8 days after the release of Muse Spark 1.2. According to tallies from the research platform AlphaZiv, Meta has lost more than 200 notable researchers over the past year. The research organization it assembled with enormous pay packages is draining out at roughly the same speed. When the people recruited under a superintelligence banner keep leaving to go independent, the question stops being model quality and becomes whether the organization holding those researchers is sustainable at all. Fourth, data center operator Vantage and AI cloud provider Nebius will deploy high-density AI infrastructure in Wales. The site is Vantage's CWL1 campus in Newport, South Wales. Nebius will lease capacity there to run AI training, inference, and enterprise AI workloads. What makes this notable is that it is the first announced commercial capacity commitment inside the UK government's South Wales AI growth zone. The build will use NVIDIA's DSX AI factory reference design. Nebius announced roughly £1.7 billion of committed capacity across 4 UK sites back in June, and this deployment is part of that expansion. Vantage, for its part, plans to deliver more than 1 gigawatt of AI-ready capacity across Newport, Bridgend, and Bro Tathon. A campus running since 2010, one of Europe's largest being converted into dedicated AI compute, Britain's push to secure domestic AI computing capacity is now showing up as signed commercial contracts. Fifth, Anthropic shareholders are reportedly expecting an IPO valuation above $2 trillion. A listing could come as early as October, and at that price it would be the largest initial public offering ever completed, surpassing SpaceX, which went public in June at $1.77 trillion. The case rests on revenue growth. Annualized revenue passed $47 billion at the end of May, and investors expect $100 to $120 billion by December. There is an important caveat. The early investor meetings led by CFO Krishna Rao have stayed high level and have not covered specific financials or evaluation. The $2 trillion figure comes from investors' own analysis, not from Anthropic. Fortune notes that justifying that number would require Amazon-style earnings, while the company has barely turned a profit. Explosive revenue growth on one side, proof of profitability on the other. Going into a listing, the gap between those two is what gets tested. That's all for this AI news flash.